You've probably heard the term smart city thrown around a lot, right? It sounds super futuristic, really efficient, maybe even a little intimidating. But what does that really mean? And why is it such a huge topic in urban development today? Well, the whole conversation kind of kicks off with one single massive number. It all starts here. 2.5 billion. That's the number of additional people expected to be living in cities by the year 2050. I mean, that's just a staggering figure, and it presents this enormous challenge. How are we going to accommodate all that growth without our cities just completely breaking down? Because, let's be honest, many of our cities are already feeling the pressure. This constant urban growth is pushing our existing infrastructure, our resources, and our public services right to their absolute limits. And this strain, it shows up in ways we all recognize. Endless traffic jams, power grids that just can't keep up, overflowing garbage bins, and a massive consumption of natural resources. These aren't just small annoyances. They're symptoms of a system that's under some serious stress. So, how do we fix this? Well, this is where the whole idea of the smart city comes into play. It's often presented as a solution to manage these growing challenges and build a more sustainable future. But, again, what is it really? Okay, so at its core, the most common definition is all about technology. It's this idea of a city that's packed with sensors collecting data. That data is then used to manage everything from traffic and power grids to water supply and waste way more efficiently. But it's about more than just data. This second definition gets us a little closer to the why. See, the whole point of using all these information and communication technologies, what they call ICT, isn't just to be efficient for the sake of it. It's about getting real, tangible benefits. Saving money, saving energy, and at the end of the day, improving the quality of life for everyone living there. And this brings us to the most modern and, maybe the most important way to think about a smart city. In this view, technology is just the tool. A truly smart city isn't just a web of sensors. It's a place that actually listens to its people and adapts to serve them better. It puts the citizens right at the center of the whole thing. So, if a city can listen and adapt, how does that actually work? Let's get into the mechanics of it. The best way to think about the tech underneath it all is to imagine the city as a living, breathing organism with its own nervous system. The whole process basically follows 4 key steps. First up, you have collection. This is where data is gathered from countless sources, physical sensors checking traffic, but also directly from people through something called community sensing, where citizens can give feedback on apps. Next is analysis, where all that raw data is crunched to find useful patterns. Then comes communication, where those insights are zapped over to the right people or automated systems. And finally, action. The city responds in real time, maybe by rerouting traffic to clear up a jam or tweaking the power grid to stop a blackout before it happens. Now, to make that 4-step process actually happen, you need 2 main components. On one side, you've got the urban network, which is like the body's central nervous system. This is the backbone, all the fiber optic cables and 5G networks that let information flow. And on the other side, you have the sensor network, which acts as the city's senses. These are the thousands of devices out in the world monitoring everything from traffic to air quality, gathering all that raw data. It sounds pretty amazing in theory, doesn't it? A city that can see, hear, and react to make our lives better. But, and this is a big but, the journey from that cool concept to reality is filled with some huge complexities and some serious potential pitfalls. It's definitely not as simple as just installing sensors everywhere. The way we think about smart cities has actually evolved over time. The first generation, let's call it Smart City 1.0, was very much technology-driven. You had big tech companies basically pushing their solutions onto cities. Then came 2.0, where city leaders started taking the reins, using tech as a tool to solve their specific problems. But today, the most forward-thinking approach is Generation 3.0, citizen co-creation, where the focus is all about engaging the community and making sure the technology serves everyone. But what happens when you get stuck in that first-generation tech-first mindset? Well, for a bit of a cautionary tale, we can look at Songdo, a business district in South Korea that was literally built from the ground up to be the smartest city on Earth. Despite all of its incredible technology, I'm talking automated waste collection, citywide sensors, Songdo has struggled. The project was incredibly expensive, which led to high property costs and not a lot of people moving in. Critics say it feels kind of sterile, that it lacks the vibrant culture and community that makes a city feel like home. And that's the key takeaway. The design was so focused on the tech that it forgot the most important thing. Cities are for people. And the issues Songdo ran into, they aren't unique. They really point to these bigger challenges that every single smart city project has to face. Technologically, how do you securely connect all these complex systems? Economically, where does the massive amount of money come from? Socially, how do you make sure everyone benefits, not just the tech-savvy? And how do you get people to trust it? And the ethical questions, they're huge. How do you protect people's data and prevent this from turning into a surveillance state? These are not easy questions to answer. Trying to answer those tough questions has led to a major shift in urban design. The conversation is moving away from being just about technology and toward a much more holistic, human-centered approach. So, what does that actually look like? You know, the most exciting trends in urban development today aren't just about smart tech. They're about sustainability. Things like building green spaces and using renewable energy. They're about creating walkable neighborhoods where you can live, work, and shop all without getting in a car. It's about designing great public spaces. And maybe most importantly, ensuring equity so that all these benefits are available to every single resident, no matter their background. This really gets to the heart of it. The most successful projects aren't driven by cool new tech, they're problem-driven. They start with people. Technology is just one tool to help solve their problems, and the whole process has to be handled responsibly, with a constant eye on ethics, privacy, and inclusion. So, as we wrap this up, this is the final thought I really want to leave you with. Is the ultimate goal to build a smart city, or is it to use smart tech as one of many tools to build a better city? One that's more sustainable, more livable, and more equitable for all of us. Something to think about.